How do corresponding squares determine the endgame result? Have you ever wondered how certain positions in chess can lead to a win or a draw, especially in king and pawn endgames? The concept of corresponding squares plays a vital role in these scenarios. Let's break it down. Corresponding squares are pairs of squares on the chessboard. When one king occupies one square, the opposing king must occupy the corresponding square to keep the balance. If the opposing king does not occupy that square, the player controlling the first square can start making progress, often leading to a winning position. Understanding this concept is essential for king and pawn endgames. Key squares are critical areas on the board. If a king reaches a key square, it can guarantee a winning position. Identifying these squares is the first step in mastering pawn endgames. Around these key squares, you will find sets of corresponding squares. For instance, if white's king moves to a specific square, black must respond by moving to the corresponding square. This response is necessary to prevent white from gaining a decisive advantage. The ideas of opposition and Zugzwang are also connected to corresponding squares. Opposition occurs when kings face each other with one square in between. Corresponding squares extend this idea. By occupying them, a player can force the opponent into Zugzwang, where any move will worsen their situation. In practical terms, when you analyze an endgame, you should think about where to place your king. If you can push your opponent's king off a corresponding square, you gain access to key squares. This can lead to promoting a pawn or winning material. Retrograde analysis is another useful method. This involves working backward from known winning or drawing positions. By identifying which squares correspond to each other, you can solve complex endgame positions more effectively. Overall, understanding corresponding squares allows players to predict the outcome of pawn endgames. By analyzing king positions relative to these squares, you can plan precise king maneuvers. This helps you gain the opposition at a distance, not just directly in front of the opposing king. Recognizing when your opponent threatens to occupy a corresponding square can help you avoid losing positions. It also allows you to tackle complicated endgames that cannot be resolved by simple key square rules. In summary, corresponding squares provide a structured way to analyze king and pawn endgames. They enable players to calculate critical king moves that ultimately determine the final result of the game. Understanding this concept is key to improving your endgame skills and achieving better results on the chessboard.